I'm going to give you the 5 things that you need to know in North Carolina before you go through a child custody case. And I'm going to start with the first, which is both parents, both legally established parents, have an equal right to custody prior to the entry of a court order on custody. And what that means is that you can't take custody from the other parent and they can't take custody from you. So what you have is this battle of physical possession until you have a court order entered. That doesn't mean it's always an actual battle going on, but that's the way it's determined, and law enforcement or anybody else is not going to get involved. Number 2, I want you to know that it's not going to be easy. This process is stressful and it's going to challenge what you think is right for your child. And it may be that everything you hear after going through this is different from what you would have thought would have been best going in. Now, that may not be the case always, and certainly there are differences that happen there, but you need to be prepared for this. And what that means is talking to people, to third parties, or the friend that's going to give you the right advice, no matter if it's what you want to hear or not, about what you're going through. Number 3, full custody is not real. Now, all right, I've said that, and I'm already going to walk it back and tell you that there are certain situations where people end up with orders that give the other side no time and you full decision making, but they are very limited, and they are almost exclusively situations where there are very, very serious allegations against the other side, or where they are not there to defend themselves, or they don't even care to show up to argue what their side might be in that situation. So, we can talk through how you get there, but basically biology is the reason that they are involved, and you're not going to eliminate that completely. And when you're going through it, I guess I should say, just know that they are going to get some time. I think that is a reasonable assumption that you have going in on the front end, absent there being some of these major extenuating facts to lead there. Legal custody is decision making. That's number 4. When it comes to what happens and decisions made concerning your child, what we're talking about in that situation more often than not is legal custody. There's not a great definition of what legal custody means, what all it entails, but when you are thinking about that, and that is a priority for you, that is really what you're talking about in terms of that order. So if you want the final say on medical decisions or educational decisions, this is where you would negotiate that out at, or what you would ask for when you go to trial. Now, legal custody aside, it doesn't matter what an order says on legal custody, or whether there's not even an order at all. The presumption is going to be that both parties have equal access to the majority of your records that you're going to be talking about when you're dealing with a minor child in the state of North Carolina. So even if you have full legal custody, unless an order specifically says that another party cannot have access to those records, and even that's a little bit questionable from a legal standpoint, but unless it specifically says that, they're going to have access to those documents and those records concerning the child. The last thing I want to talk about is what is the standard that we use to decide these cases, and you've probably heard it before, but that is best interest of the child. Best interest of the child is, there is a framework for this. There are factors that the court is supposed to consider in determining what happens in a child custody case. But I want you to remember that it is a judge deciding this, and all of those factors even are subjective, and there's subjective elements to all of it. So you may even have a result that fits kind of what the judge subjectively wants to do around those factors more than the factors pushing in those directions. Now, that is not to say that these judges are out to get you or anything like that. Most of them are just, people trying to do the best they can with a great volume of cases that they have to deal with every single day. But it's subjective. Just know that going in. And it's really important that you understand what might be important to the court versus, this idea, this overarching idea of what you think may be best for your case. So if you're going through or considering a custody case, please consider those 5 things before doing so. And really, when you're going through it, it can mean the world to have a lawyer that you trust and that you can talk through these issues with before, filing or as you go through it.